am Natalia Jackson, reporting from Kids First. Today I have the honor to catch up with CJ Crim, producer and director of Resisterhood, a film about the power of women, hope, and resistance in modern American politics. Can I say the silence has been broken, and it is such an inspiring story in an extraordinary time. Congratulations, Best Documentary and People Choice Awards of the 2021 Race Human Race International Film Festival. Let's also welcome Dallas Chislom, 13-year-old, who is also Margaret Morrison's great-great-grandnephew, who is also featured in the film. Welcome to the both of you. First and foremost, Cheryl, what was your initial goal for capturing these inspiring stories of 6 incredibly different, from all different backgrounds, women who work tirelessly to enact change in the community and protect our civil rights and to motivate others?
Well, I really wanted to amplify the voices of people who are out there, who really wanted to work together to bring a positive change to the country. After the election in 2016, a lot of us were really feeling like our country was taking a shift in the really wrong direction. And I wanted to find people, everyday people, grassroots people who were standing up and saying, this is not the country we believe in, and we're going to work together and make our voices heard and make a difference.
I definitely agree. I think Resisterhood gave us a perspective through so many different women and how their personal lives affected them to make a change. And many of them ran for either congresswoman or just city council. So inspiring and motivational. And in what way did working on this film change you as a person? And what did you learn from this experience?
Wow, that's a really great question. I have to say, I changed in so many ways, and becoming so intimately involved in the lives of the people in the film, I learned to see the world through their eyes much more than I ever had before. And and that was such a gift. And these people are so, and Dallas included, everyone was so open and willing to let me follow them around with a camera for 2 years. And so that really changed me. And I hope that people are changed by seeing their stories in the film. It was really a journey, following their journey. And it was a journey for me because I learned so much. The other thing that was so inspiring for me, and Resisterhood would never have been made if it wasn't for the generosity of people coming forward who believed in the mission of the film and said, we want to help, whether it was fundraising, volunteering to shoot for a day, designing the logo, painting this painting that's behind me. So many people just stepped up and said, how can we help? And that to me was so inspiring. It was a community effort. It really did take a Resisterhood to make it happen.
It really did. And one of my favorite things about this film is actually the fact that you gave us a day-by-day effect on President Trump's 2016 election. I got to see so many things occur, and it was just day 236, day 2. It really took you through the process, and it was a perfect timeline of what they were doing in their community, which is one of my favorite things about it. And that's not all. I mean, I love getting to see it through their eyes, and just even seeing her knock on the door, you know, Mimi, and just telling everyone that she is running. That was pretty awesome too. I love getting to see that. And that experience when she ran into a Republican's home, she expected something bad that would come out of that, but she actually had a nice, respectful conversation with the lady, and they both came to an agreement that they want to have peace and unity in their communities and not hatred and fighting. So I just love that scene very much. And to continue, Dallas, as the great-great-nephew of Margaret Morrison, how important do you think it is for adults to talk to their children about making a change?
Well, as you know, we're the next generation, and we need people to inspire us and motivate us to lead this country into the right direction. And we obviously do have the power to go in that right direction. And yeah.
I agree. I mean, we are the next generation. And just like Joanna said, Joanna Lohman, who was also featured in the film, she said, if we cannot make a change right now, we need to make a change for those who come behind us. And that was a great saying. And I think we can all keep that in mind through these hectic times that we're going through. So I think that relates to what you just said. And along with that, Dallas, how did it feel to be surrounded by such powerful women who are considered role models and leaders?
Well, they were so inspiring around me. I mean, there's so many of them. And when I finally got to meet some of them, it was like, wow, these women are actually real, you know? So
Yeah.
you see them if you ever see them in the movie, you know, it's like, if you ever do meet them in person, it's like, wow, they're real, you know? They're actually trying to make a difference in their community. And they actually want to help everyone else, you know? And yeah.
Yes. Of course, they're real. They're here and they're making a change. So great advice there to let everyone know that if you meet them in real person, you know they are the real ones here to make a change, and encouraging others to do so as well. To continue, Cheryl, what is the moment of highest tension when you feel the solution come to the problem in sight?
Oh, let's see. The highest tension. There were a lot of tense times in the film. One of the times when I was a little bit nervous, I was driving downtown with Margaret, Dallas's great aunt, and we were going to the second Unite the Right rally. We were going to the counter protests, and that was the rally on the year anniversary of the rally in Charlottesville that actually killed Heather Heyer, and we didn't know what we were going into. And here I am with Margaret. I think at the time was 83 years old, and she wanted to be there. She's like, I have to put my life on the line the way she did in the march from Selma to Montgomery. And so we were driving down, and I interviewed her in the car, and she's saying, you know, I don't know what I'm going to see down there. I am afraid, but I still have to go. And so I was nervous as a director putting her in that spot, as well as myself, but really putting her there. But the beautiful thing was, once we went, like 20 people showed up from the alt-right, and thousands of people showed up on the other side. So that was the beautiful message. And that's really what it's all about. The people who are really hateful and trying to destroy this country, there aren't very many of them. There's so many more of us. And so I guess that in a nutshell kind of takes you to what the film is all about. You know, we have power, and we have, you know, we just have to stand up and use it.
Yes, and I think I just brought up a moment where you were just telling me that you didn't know what to expect, but you had to go. I remember one scene where Margaret was letting Dallas know. Dallas was like, why? Why do you do these things? And then she was all like, well, I don't know. I just have to do it. I mean, it's just a part of history, and it'll always be. So it's just a thing that I have to do. So it just kind of reminded me when you just said that, and it's just all these things are popping up from when I watched the film. So powerful and inspirational. And I love seeing the perspectives of women representing LGBTQ+, you know, the Muslim and Black communities. What made you choose Joanna Lohman, Mimi Hassanine, and Margaret Morrison as the spokespeakers in your film?
Well, I think you'll agree they turned out to be really good spokeswomen. It was really, we didn't have very much time to find our people. So I have to say, it was just something wonderful that happened, that we were able to find these people. And it was right when we heard that the Women's March was coming up. It came from an idea, I think, that was posted on Facebook to people actually marching in a month. So it was a very short amount of time. So we just started asking everybody, you know, do you know anybody? We wanted to represent certain groups that we thought were at risk. And well, that we knew were specifically from what Donald Trump had said as he was running as a candidate. And so, you know, just a really quick, funny story. We actually found Joanna Lohman on a zip line course. I was working with someone at the time who was with her kids on a zip line course. She zipped from one tree to another and got a phone call. And the phone call was from her best friend, who just found out she had breast cancer. And so my friend Julie, she was on the phone, and she started to cry. And Joanna zipped up after her, landed on the platform, and said, "Are you okay? What's wrong?" As Joanna would. Not everybody would, but Joanna, just one of the most thoughtful, lovely, wonderful people of the world, started talking to her, and they just had a moment up on the zipline stand, and Julie got her email and said, we're doing this documentary. Would you be interested? So that's how we found Joanna. Pretty wild story, but you know, it was just meant to be.
It was, and like you said in the beginning, wonderful spokespeople for this film. They all had different stories. They all came from different pure natures, and I love that about this. So thank you for sharing that incredibly funny story with me. To continue, Dylan, Dallas, of the many feelings expressed in this film, which did you relate to and which could you really connect to?
Well, a theme in the movie was kind of like, can I do it? You know, what can I do to make this happen? Right.
Yes.
And I took like a lot of that, you know, of that kind of, you know, per se vibe and put it kind of into my own life, you know, in terms of like going to school, getting good grades. And I play sports, so I would try and do my best in like sports and stuff like that. And just like, how can I make this happen? What do I need to do? I have the determination, and I have all these people around me that are very inspiring. So obviously I had to give it my all, and they gave it their all when it was like their time to shine, you know? So
yes, it sure was.
Yeah.
Along with that, what advice do you have for the youth who want to make a change?
Wow. I don't really know. I mean, like, just put your best effort into everything you do, because if you don't, you may end up regretting not going 100% on this one thing, you know? So try not to live with any regrets, you know? Try and do everything before you get too old, you know, before you can't do it. So I'm just trying to keep that kind of mentality in my brain to just go out and do something, you know, because I just want to, something like that,
Overall, basically what you're trying to say is keep determined and don't wait for it to happen, make it happen. Yes. And that is what all these young ladies have done. So great piece of advice from Dallas here. Thank you so much. And lastly, Cheryl, give me 3 words to describe this film.
3 words. Well, I hope it's inspirational, joyful, and determined.
Yes. Got to keep that word in there. Well, thank you both so much for taking the time to speak with me. This is Natalia Jackson, reporting from Kids First, and I've just spoken to CJ Crim, producer and director of the upcoming film, Resisterhood, as well as Dallas. So thank you so much both for speaking with me, and stay safe.
Thank you. It was great to be here.
Do I have hope? Hope springs eternal. I have hope.